What's up, guys? JP back at you once again, bringing you guys day number 6 in my 12th annual 31 Days of Horror, a series in which we watch and review 31 horror films in 31 days, all during the month of October, leading right up to Halloween. And continuing along with day number 6, I decided to go with a title that I had in the collection for like a decade and I still haven't watched. As I've mentioned, I have tons of sealed stuff, and no better time to crack open sealed things and watch them than in the fall, or more specifically, the month of October. So I tend to try to do that around October. And one of the titles that was sealed sitting on the shelf was The Roommate from the year 2011. I've probably had this disc since 2011, and I've never watched it. I've never seen this film, so I decided to give it a watch, not only because it was sealed and sitting on the shelf, but because on 22 Shots, our next retro, quote-unquote, year, top 10 that we're doing is 2011. We started the podcast and did our first top 10 list in 2013, so we missed 10, 11, and 12, so we consider those retro years now. So we're going back and doing some years, and 2011 came up, so I figured I have a handful of 2011 films that are in my collection, so I'll check some of them out. And The Roommate from 2011 is more of a thriller, I would say, but it does sort of have some horror elements. It's not like Lifetime thriller. It's a little darker, so lump it into the horror genre. The tagline, "Murder can really ruin a friendship." So, The Roommate. 2011, it's interesting, like, I'm instantly being taken back to 2011 when I'm started watching these. It's such a different time period for horror. I mean, just look at the cell phones, right? Like, cell phone technology has come a long way in the last decade or so. But Sarah, she is a freshman in college. She's going for, like, fashion or, like, fashion design or something like that. She shows up at college. She has a roommate. She has a dude that she meets that becomes sort of a love interest. There's another girl that she meets that she becomes friends with who's like a bit of a partier. But the roommate, named Rebecca, is a bit odd. And right away, she becomes, she's very nice at first, but she becomes very, like, overbearing and kind of uncomfortable to Sarah. She's, like, very clingy, you know what I mean? Like, she takes this friendship from 0 to 60, like, they just met each other and all of a sudden she wants to be best friends with her. Very, smothering. And then you start to realize that she might be a little bit twisted as well. And you slowly start to sort of reveal that as time goes on. It's basically like Single White Female from 1992, which I haven't seen in a very long time, but it reminds me of those type of movies where somebody enters your life and just, like, torments you and forces themselves upon you and stuff like that. It's sort of one of those movies, and I will say, like, some of the stuff that was a bit damn creepy, like, Sarah, one of the things about her is her sister died, her sister Emily, I believe it was, and literally Rebecca gets a tattoo that says Emily on her and basically tells Sarah, "You can call me Emily if you like." Just weird stuff like that. She starts harassing other people around Sarah, like the party girl roommate but the party girl friend that Sarah meets. When Rebecca sees that Sarah's getting too close with her, she, does something to sort of stop that. And there's a thing with a cat. There's not a whole lot of horror, but it's more of that thriller aspect. What did I think of this one? I thought it was okay. It did kind of feel like been there, done that a little bit. It just didn't add anything new to this style of film. Feels kind of just like cheap and like just a studio like threw it together to sort of capitalize on the lack of creativity at the time and the fact that people just went like, you know, people went and seen stuff like this at the time. There really wasn't a lot coming out in the theaters back in 2011. We're pretty like lucky with the amount of horror that comes out now. There was some stuff, but yeah, I think we're the most of the good stuff is like the indie stuff or the stuff that went to direct to video or had limited releases. Some of this like mainstream stuff is a bit not so good in 2011. I thought the acting was pretty decent overall. I thought that, you know, it didn't drag too much. And I don't think it was bad. It was a fine watch. It just doesn't do anything special, you know what I mean? So, with that said, I'd probably give it like a 6.5 out of 10. Probably a little generous, but I kind of am nostalgic for this era already, which is kind of nuts. And I did enjoy watching it, despite, you know, some of the flaws in it. But yeah, so with that said, that is The Roommate from 2011. See you guys tomorrow with another review. Peace.